Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Thanksgiving week. So glad you guys hopped on. We have a very special guest with us tonight. My friend Natalie Dolan, who's a Sapphire ambassador. Say hi, Natalie. You have to actually say it or your face won't pop up.
Hey everyone.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, so
I'm ready to receive from you. I'm like, what do you got to say? All right.
Well, I do have a few things to say, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. But I'm gonna ask you some questions. But so Natalie's now a Sapphire. But what year did you join, Natalie?
2016.
Okay, so a few years after I did. First time I ever heard Natalie speak, she wasn't like training or anything. Like I already knew Natalie because we had worked together, and because she is also on Fallon's team in Pink Power. So before Plexus Freedom Team was ever a thing, we were all one big happy family in Pink Power, which is Fallon's group. So we went to our very first Ruby retreat, and they had brought, and I was an Emerald, and I think Natalie was either a Ruby or a Senior Ruby. And they brought Vanessa Van Edwards in, which if you guys don't know her, you need to know who she is because she's super smart and very interesting she is the founder of the Science of People. So anyways, Natalie spoke up from the audience and they handed her the mic. And I was just like, well, first of all, she looks like Vanessa Van Edwards. And second of all, she is like, got this powerful, like stage presence, just like, when she speaks, people want to listen. And that was when she was a Ruby or Senior Ruby. Were you Ruby at that first Ruby retreat, Natalie?
Yes.
Okay. So she definitely had captivated my attention. And I was just thinking, she is one to watch. That girl's going to be a diamond. So it has been super fun to watch Natalie grow. She's built an incredible team. I adore her team. She has some fantastic leaders over there. And I just love being able to work alongside them and just feel very blessed to know them. Super smart, super sharp leaders. And tonight we get to hear from Natalie. You guys are going to be blown away because we were at this year's Ruby Retreat. Natalie was actually one of our keynote trainers. So you're going to love her. All right. So let's just jump right in, Natalie. Is there anything you want to say before we jump in here?
No, that's so funny. You remembered Vanessa Van Edwards. I'm actually on a Vanessa Van Edwards kick right now. I've been like watching her videos and sending her videos to people. I'm like, y'all need to watch Vanessa Van Edwards. She's going to teach you how to communicate, which is so important. So that's so funny. You remembered that.
I'm on a Vanessa and Van Edwards kick right now too. Did you listen to that podcast she did with Craig Rochelle?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Is that what started your kick?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when we were on the way home from Ruby Retreat this year, I had pulled up a video by her and it was called How to Be More Interesting. It was just 10 minutes. And I was like, this is so good. So then, of course, I watched a lot of her other videos and I was so thrilled to see she did a podcast. I did listen to that podcast. It was really good. And we're going to do some Vanessa Van Edwards stuff in December, I think. So that's fun. All right. All right. So start by telling us just a little bit about your background with Plexus. Like tell us your product story, how you got started with Plexus. Why did you pursue this as an opportunity? How long did it take you to go Sapphire, your timeline, like all the deets?
Okay. All right. Well, so I watched people post. I watched Courtney, Fallon, Rochelle, and my original sponsor post about Plexus for like a solid year. I was watching 4 people for a year, being skeptical, doing research. Like I was already a believer in supplements. Like I already had a cabinet full of supplements, and I lived in Alaska, and we would have to take our vitamin D or else we would not feel good. And that's when I became a believer in supplements. I would be like, wow, because you don't see the sun a lot, So if I was feeling down, I would be like, oh, I haven't taken my vitamin D in a while. So I was skeptical about it, but I was doing my research and I was reading like 4 people's posts for a whole year. And so I finally, my original sponsor, who she stopped doing the business probably when I was a Ruby, which was a mistake. Anyway, so
I would say so.
I would say so too. But probably when I was like Ruby, but she was in and out the whole time, you know. So yeah. So anyways, but so she contacted me and she said, hey, I'm doing Plexus with Courtney, who they were both in our Bible study. Me, Natalie Borges, Courtney, and my original sponsor, we were all in a Bible study together. We all went to the same church. And so Natalie and I were like, okay, we're going to support them. And we had a plan, and because we were going to be supportive friends and whatever. And so my original sponsor hit me up and she was like, hey, you got to take these products and I think you should do this business with me. And then I was like, I called Natalie Borges and I was like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe who asked me to do Plexus with her. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so mortified. And I was like, I would never do that. I would literally never do network marketing. And so I was like, but I'm gonna be a good friend. I'm gonna buy ProBio 5 from her. So I was like, I've been looking for some probiotics. So I bought ProBio 5 from her because I had a lifetime of gut health issues from being born via C-section. So my whole entire life, I had gut health issues from that. And so just chronic stomach aches were a way of life for me. So I was on the probiotics for a while, just the probiotics. And then finally, you know, I learned about through watching everyone's posts. I was like, probably like a year later, I took ProBio 5 for like a year. And like probably about a year later, I finally it was like Mother's Day. And I was like, for Mother's Day, because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to take the products. Like I wanted to take the products, but anyways, I decided for Mother's Day this year, I wanted to feel good finally. So I was like, I told my husband I was getting the triplex for Mother's Day and that was going to be my gift. So I got on the products and I had like amazing results, which I think is because I had really quick results with the triplex, but I had been on ProBio 5 for a year already. So I got on the triplex and I like lost like 5 pounds in a week. And then I lost 10 pounds in the first month. And I was like feeling good. I was waking up with energy. I didn't have anxiety. I wasn't, you know, I was feeling incredible. And so I'm the kind of person who, if I love my mop, I'm going to post it on, I'm not going to hide that from anyone. Like I literally have like posts where I'm like, you guys need this mop. It's so good, you know? So I that's what I did. So I had amazing results. I told Natalie, I was like, yo, I lost like 5 pounds in a week. This is crazy. And so then that month I started sharing about Plexus. I started praying about it and I was like, I do not want to do this. And I started just really like digging in, like what's holding me back? Like, what is the root cause of me not wanting to share? And I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I have a fear of man. I'm afraid of what other people will think about me if I post this. I was afraid that if I posted a selfie, people would think I was full of myself. I was afraid that if I posted too much, I would annoy people. I would never post anything unless it was like me and my kids, or, you know, I had like all these things in my head that, you know, were holding me back. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to let the fear of what other people are going to think about me hold me back from sharing something that's really going to help everyone I know. So that's what I decided to do. And in a month, the next month I went silver. And then it took me 6 months to go gold. This was so interesting looking all of this up. I was like, I don't know. I've never looked any of this up before. So it took me 6 months to go gold, which I feel like, man, people go gold so much quicker nowadays. You know, I feel like it is so much more doable to go gold now, which is awesome. And that's why we should be sharing with people, because it's doable. But it took me 6 months to go gold, 10 months to go senior gold, 18 months to go ruby. And then I was ruby for 10 months. And then it took me, and then after 10 months, then I hit senior Ruby, and I was senior Ruby for 2 years and 4 months. I was senior Ruby for a hot minute. And during that time, I like almost hit Emerald and missed Emerald, and then had like a really, really hard season in my life that kind of messed me up. And then, which I can talk more about later in kind of like my biggest obstacles. But then I went back from senior Ruby point, from almost Emerald points, like 1,300 points, down to just below Ruby. So I was at probably like senior goal, like I think like 400 something. So I was just below Ruby. And so that was wild. So from that point, I was at senior Ruby for 2 years. And then I hit Emerald in October of 2020. And that was 4.5 years into my business when I finally hit Emerald after 2 years of being senior Ruby. So I was doubting. I had a lot of doubt in my mind. I was like, wow, will this ever happen? Am I capable? Am I like worthy? Am I deserving? Because I had failed forward so much. What I would say like fail forward is like the name of my business, that like if I had to call it something, fail forward, that's so yeah, so then I was Emerald. So yeah, that was 4.5 years to Emerald. And then I was Emerald for 16 months before hitting Sapphire of February of this year. And so now I've been doing Plexus for 6.5 years. So not like this overnight quick success person.
I love it. It's so inspiring. I say all the time that, it's impressive to watch somebody like climb through the ranks, just like it's nobody's business, just back to back to back, super fast. But what's inspiring is somebody that it didn't come easy for. That is what's most inspiring, because that is the type of thing that makes people think, if she can do it, I can do it. She struggled too. So tell us about that. It's a good segue. What were the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome during your journey so far, and how did you overcome them?
So I think a lot of it was just getting out of my own way. That's really what it boils down to. Just me and my own mindset, and me holding myself back. I always say that I had to become a completely different person. I had to transform myself into who I am now in order to be where I'm at right now. And that's something that I kind of hit really hard. Who do you need to become in order to get where you need to go? For me, it is all about becoming. And so, I had to overcome a lot of my own just worthiness. Like, am I worthy, deserving, and capable of success? That has been something that I have had to drill into myself, and building my own like worth, because a backstory is I was a single teen mom at 19. And so I was a single mom, and that really defined a lot of who I was, and a lot of what people thought I was and what I was capable of. And so I had a lot of doubt. A lot of people really, really doubted me, openly doubted me, and was like, hey, I don't think you're even going to be a good mom. Like, you should not do this, things like that. And so it kind of put this like fire and drive in me to be like, you know what? No, I believe in myself, and I can overcome anything. And so I kind of had like this grit inside of me, but at the same time, some like shame issues and worthiness issues. So I had to really dig into that and learn how to become, become a disciplined person, because I'm not naturally disciplined. I am naturally, I'm a type 7. I'm very blue. I want to have fun. I want to have a good time. Enjoyment is a core value of mine. But
Are you a 7? You a type 7?
Yeah. So I had to learn how to become disciplined. And so there were lots of things where I could have said, oh, I'm just not that kind of person. I could never time block because I'm just not that kind of person. I'm a spontaneous person. We label ourselves a lot. Or, oh, I can't do that because I have ADD. I can't focus enough to do that. Or, oh, whatever, I had to get rid of all of those like identities and choose my own identities. But that I would say a lot of that came after when I think about like my biggest obstacles in my business, I would say when I was a senior Ruby, and I had been senior Ruby for a while and was almost Emerald. I went for Emerald the month my husband was deploying for 8 months. So he was like leaving that month and I was going for Emerald. And it was we also like went on a little pre-deployment trip. Like everything about it was just not a good idea. I had no business going for Emerald, but that really affected my confidence after not hitting it. And then he left immediately. And I was just, left, in North Carolina with no family close by. And my kids were young. They were like 2, 4, and 7. And I have 3 boys. And it was just a really intense mothering season on top of just having this failure that I was kind of letting really affect me. And then just some marriage struggles of being separated. That brings a lot of struggles in itself, and knowing no one was coming to help me for like 8 months. So I had all of that, and that kind of produced a lot of anxiety in me. And so I started letting really just my mental health and all of my thoughts get in the way. And so it was kind of this like make or break it moment in my business where I kind of stopped showing up. I wasn't on the calls. I wasn't being present. I wasn't posting. And I kind of started like quiet quitting. Not quitting, but kind of basically quitting with my actions. And so, that I had to, in that season, I had to like get real with myself, because no one's coming to save you. You have to like get a grip for yourself, So I had to get counseling. I got a life coach during that time. I was like, I need help. And so I'm going to get help. Thankfully, I did have that senior Ruby income at that point where I could, do those things, and I could invest my money back into myself. So that's what I did. I got help during that time. And what I think really pulled me out of that was when I had to look myself in the mirror, and I got in touch with my pain points, and I wrote down on my mirror in my bathroom from top to bottom, if I stop working my Plexus business, then, dot. And then I started writing everything that would happen if I stopped working my business. I'll eventually, I wrote down all of these things, like I'll be letting down my team. I'll be letting down myself. I'll never step into my potential. I won't be able to travel. I will feel like I let myself down. I will feel this way. And so I wrote down all these things that would happen if I quit on myself. And I would read that every day. I would see it when I was like in my bath. I love taking baths. And I would be in there like, dang, I really got to get it together. And so that really is what like pulled me out, and the pain, because being a 7 and like a blue personality, pain is extra painful for me, for people like me. Pain, like I can be very pain avoidant, which is something I've had to, that something I still have to always face. Like, am I avoiding pain? Am I avoiding pain? And so the pain of not working my business became way greater than the pain of somebody turning off their sub, or a business builder quitting on me, or somebody having too many questions, or somebody rejecting me in some sort of way. That became so small in comparison to what I would give up if I gave up.
That's so good, Natalie. Okay, I wrote down some questions. So before we go to the ones that I already sent you, here's the unscripted ones. Okay, so in the beginning, why did you think you would never do network marketing? Why did you think that? And then, like, why did you change your mind?
Well, I just saw so many people like doing it the wrong way, like the kid, what is it, Gen Z calls it cringe, like I just saw people being cringy about it, and I just was like, I just didn't want to be one of those people that was like spamming or being, posting cheesy things, or like weird cheesy things from Pinterest with like cartoons and like, or just being obnoxious. And I just didn't want to be that kind of person. And so I didn't really want to be associated with it, really. And so, yeah, I just thought at the root of it is pride. It was just me thinking, oh, I'm better than that, or
So do you feel like now that you have found a way to do it without being cringe?
Yeah. And that's really my mission. That's something I talk about a lot, is like, you can do this the right way, is what I say. Like, there is a way where you can do this and really add value and really be creative and classy and, professional. The very first network marketing book I ever read was GoPro. And so that was my foundation. Like, if I'm going to do this, I am going to do this with excellence, and I'm going to be professional about it. I'm not going to be like sleazy and spammy and all of that. Like, I'm going to just do it the right way. Yeah.
Love it. How did you learn the skill of doing it the right way?
Yeah, I failing forward for sure, trial and error, but I became a student of the industry. And I'm still a student of the industry. Like I read GoPro probably like my first month of doing this business. Like, okay, I'm going to be a woman of excellence. Okay, I need to read a book. I need to learn. I started watching, every YouTube video I could get my hands on. I was hungry to learn how to do it the right way.
Love that. What created that hunger?
The hunger to do it the right way?
The hunger to, well, so you said you're a 7. You really love enjoyment. Takes a lot of extra for you to be disciplined. So like the discipline of learning, the discipline of doing things you don't want to do, the discipline of not quitting, the discipline of like the whole entire thing. Where did the hunger come from that helped you get to the point where the discipline was less painful than the alternative?
Yeah. I think the hunger came from me. I was tuning into all these Pink Power calls. I was watching you. I was watching Fallon. I was hearing your stories. I was seeing, I feel like early on in my business, like, you were always one of those people who gave me like such strong belief. I would like look at you and like connect with you and Fallon, like, Cody. And I would be like, these are like, I could be friends with them. These are normal people with normal stories. And if they can be this successful, then gosh, if I just do it the way they do it, then I'm going to be successful too, just as long as I don't quit. Which, side note, I was in college when I started doing Plexus. I was in school pursuing a dental hygiene degree. I wanted to be a dental hygienist because I wanted to help people, and I wanted time flexibility, and I wanted, to make enough money, but still be able to be part-time. And anyways, what I found that Plexus was going to give me all of that and 10 times more, and normal people were doing it, so I could too, as long as I didn't quit. I just tuned in and watched enough videos where my belief was really strong. Even though it was still a struggle throughout the years, you have to keep on refilling your belief constantly. But I had that hunger for that dream life. And I believed I could do it as long as I was professional and was all in.
What's your dream life look like?
So my dream life just looks like a lot of freedom and a lot of traveling. I just want to have a lot of experiences with my family. Growing up, we didn't travel, I didn't have like this good family life, or I didn't have these good memories. And I just want that with my family more than anything. I just booked, a Christmas vacation, ski vacation with my family, like 5 days. We're going to be at this resort. We're all going to be skiing. Like that's the dream. That's the dream right there.
Yes. Can I come? I'm just kidding.
Come on.
I actually don't ski or dance. I'm a green, and I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do that. I can sing though. They got some karaoke at this ski place because I can sing.
They got karaoke.
All right. I love that answer. Okay. Hold on. Let me see my questions. So this is a good one. You were saying that you started like really sharing because you had some great product results, and then you were inspired by the business. If you hadn't had great product results, you probably wouldn't have been so open to the business. But what would you say to someone who is thinking that they need to wait on their own results to be successful at the business or even start working the business?
Yeah, well, I just had a new girl who told me this, and she was like, I think I need to wait on my own results, before I start sharing. And I said, I empathized with her, and I understand that. But keep in mind that there are people on my team that I've helped with, conditions that they had that I've never had. There are people on my team who have struggled with so many different things that I will have and never have struggled with. And if I had waited to get my results, I still wouldn't be speaking to them. So what people really love is to follow a journey. And it's going to take time to develop rapport and trust with a lot of different people anyways. And so you might as well be, sharing your small victories little by little by little. So by the time you have your big results or your big aha, whatever, they'll be ready already, instead of just starting from ground zero with you. Mm-hmm. So after I said that, she was like, you know what, you're right. And I'm going to post. And so that's what happened. And so now she's about to be Fast Start Silver, and we're going Fast Start Gold this month.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So you said that you were senior Ruby for 2 years plus. And you also said you did a lot of failing forward. Did you ever feel like you were failing backward?
Yes, I definitely felt like I was failing backward when I was almost Emerald and then back to just below Ruby. So I had lost an entire rank after being.
During that time, is that when you, like, your husband had deployed, is that when you like got a life coach, went to counseling, all these things? Okay. How did the life coaching help you? Is the first question. And the second part of that question is, in what areas did you have to become more disciplined?
Yes. So I was seeing my counselor and my life coach at the same time. Like I was working on my personal stuff, and then I, I'll try anything. I will try. I love new things, just personality wise. I love to try something new. And so I would say that, the life coach was not as beneficial as counseling was. So I had that life coach for a month or two, however many sessions, and that was, it just wasn't as helpful as counseling, getting down to the root issues of what was really holding me back, and how to overcome anxiety, and how to get control of my thoughts, and how to heal through whatever it is. Because I think a ton of the time it's those like inner things that need to be addressed with people that are really holding us back, like worth and victim stuff, and how to overcome that. And so that's what helped me more than anything. But what was the second part of your question?
What areas did you have to become more disciplined in?
Yes.
And those questions seem unrelated. They were related in my mind, because what I thought you were going to say was that the life coach helped you become more disciplined. So that was actually me leading the witness. But so
right.
How did you become more disciplined?
Yeah. So I became more disciplined just because I knew that was a major, that was going, hold on, my dog, she's obsessed with me. Had to let her in. I knew that was just, through listening to successful people and reading books, and in every success book and every success podcast, you're going to hear about discipline. And so I just knew that through doing the personal growth, like, wow, this is an area that's going to hold me back if I don't really get a hold of it. And so just consistently doing even like IPA, getting disciplined with that, getting disciplined with time. That sorry, that has been a major, even time blocking, the way I have my life scheduled. I can't even believe the way I time block my life. I thought that, as someone who wants freedom and spontaneity, I thought just the idea of it was like, no, I'm not that kind of person. But I gave it a try, because I'm always going to give it a try. And I found that it gave me so much more freedom, because mentally I knew that there was a time, and wherever I was, I could be present and free to be wherever I was in my day, knowing that I have my work time later, knowing that I have my time scheduled with my kids where I'm going to have my quality time. I have my date night planned. I know I'm going to get my needs met. I know I'm going to give where I need to give. And so it actually created freedom. Discipline actually gives you that. And that's the opposite of what I thought it was for as far as time goes. So definitely with my time, and just consistency and how I showed up. That's really where I needed to get disciplined. Mm. Also, just within my boundaries, I needed to get disciplined with my boundaries, and having not saying yes to everything and neglecting myself. So I got more disciplined with my workouts, because I started to get resentful, because I would see other people honoring their boundaries, and, well, no, I can't do that. That's the time I have to work out, where I would sacrifice my time, and I would be, like, oh, sure, yeah, I could do that at that time, and write off my time to get refilled. And so I got the discipline to say, hey, I don't have to please everyone. I do need to take care of myself and honor this time for me to get refilled in order to show up on my A game and without resentment. So that's where discipline has really showed up for me.
Love it. That's so good, Natalie. Okay. So one other thing you said was you basically had to become a different person. So what would you say to somebody who's listening and is scared of becoming a different person?
Right. I mean, I think of the quote where it's like the cost, of your new life is your old life. And so you kind of have to go into it knowing that there's going to be a cost, and the cost is your old life. It's your old self. And you don't want to stay the same, is what I would say. Like, can you really look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm perfect the way I am. I don't need to change. Like I'm perfect. Everything's going great for me. I've already arrived. If that's you, then I don't know why you're here, because this is the personal growth industry and you have to go higher. And I think that you get to excavate your essence. Like I'm still like inherently me. I still am, I'm still a type 7. I still want to have fun. I still want freedom. I still want to travel and meet new people and things like that. But I'm just a better version of me. I'm that plus disciplined. I'm that plus I'm inspired, and I'm achieving and making an impact. And if you can become a different version, the better version of yourself, isn't that the best option? That's what I would say. You get to become the best version of yourself and learn. And like, there are things about me that I'm like, it's so empowering. Like, wow, I never even knew I could do this or become disciplined in this way. But I learned how to do it, and it's empowering, and it inspires everyone around you. I mean, my team still, Tova, she's like, I can't even believe, I can't even believe that you manage your time the way you do. It's insane to me, because they've been with me this whole time through all the mess. Thank God. So.
Love it. That's so good. Okay. So what would you say have been the biggest resources that have helped you grow into the person you are now?
Well, my favorite book of all time that's made like the biggest impact on me for business is High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. And I read that at probably Ruby, where I was, learning to step into this different version of myself. And for me to be like, this book on habits is my favorite book is wild, but it really helped me to it just changed my total perspective on the way I was doing life, and these 6 areas that I could focus on to become more successful, like clarity and raising necessity and generating energy. And if I could focus on these, 6 things, then I would progress forward. So I love that book. But I always just listen to podcasts. Always. I listen to, YouTube videos always. And I have just made that a habit in my business. While I was getting ready for this, I was listening to a team call. I started listening to your last one, and I was like, I'm going to listen to anyway. So I was listening to all these YouTube. I'm still doing that. And that is something that I've seen. I know that you still do that. That's just what the successful people do always. And so I would say, yeah, that book specifically is just the number Atomic Habits. I think obviously like the quality of your life is going to be in the quality of your habits. And so I think really focusing in on your habits has made the biggest impact on me. Yeah.
So good, Natalie. I'm so proud of you, girl. Seriously. You're so sharp. It's very obvious to me why you're successful. Okay, let's wrap this up real quick. What's your favorite part of your Plexus business?
My favorite part, I mean, I do love training because I like to empower people, and I want all of my struggles to have had a purpose. And that's really, really, really redeeming for me, because I don't want to have gone through all that I have gone through for nothing. And so I want God to use that in order to empower other people. And I want people to look at me and be like, well, dang, if she can do it, so can I. That's truly, really what I want. Look at my struggles and know that you can be successful too. So I love training. I love empowering people, through coaching. I love breathing belief into people, and more than anything, calling out people's strengths. I love to see people come alive when you can just call out their strengths. And I really see this in you, and I believe in you, and just giving people the gift of believing in them. I love that. So yeah, training and coaching in that way. And I love traveling. And so I love our Plexus trips, and those are my favorite parts.
So whenever you started this network marketing gig that you said you would never do, you probably had absolutely no idea that you would be empowering women and impacting people the way you are. You probably just thought, that's a sales gig that I don't want a part of, but you just had no idea what was in store. So would you say that it was worth it? All the pain, all the struggle, all the discipline, all of the change, all the growth, has it been worth it?
Absolutely has been worth it. That is always at the end of any message that I give. I always just want people to know it was so worth it. Yes, I experienced many challenges and surprises and hurts, and had to really get real with myself on so many fronts. But it has been so fulfilling and purposeful, and I have met the most incredible people of my life. I feel like I just have such a rich life. I mean, just all the adventures we get to go on, I always, I've said this a bunch of times, but I love going on our vacations and our retreats. And I'm like, we're always going somewhere else. I mean, my life is just so rich. And we were just living so stressed before, and so paycheck to paycheck, and fighting about money. And, I couldn't get it was little things where a life full of limits. And now just even booking that ski trip that I just booked for us, I mean, that was a moment for me where I was like, it is so worth it to not be stressed and limited, to making more memories. I mean, we were able to get a boat. We live in Florida and we have a boat. Before we were on WIC when I started, and now we couldn't even pay for groceries. Now we got a boat. And it's not the boat, it's the memories that I'm making with my family on the boat. It's the beauty that I feel and the fulfillment that I feel, and I'm not just clocking in and building someone else's dream. Like, I went for it, and it's 1000% worth it.
Oh my gosh, that's so good, Natalie. Okay, well, the chat's blowing up. Everybody has loved hearing from you tonight. Thank you. I know that your time is extremely valuable as a Sapphire, and you have a huge team that you could be pouring into right now, which I see some of them on here. Hi, Natalie's team. But thank you so much, Natalie. So good, so very inspiring. I know that everybody is pumped after listening to you. Great tips, so much depth. I'm so proud of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me, coming from you, because you have made probably top 3 biggest impact on my business. You and Fallon, you have made one of the biggest impacts on my business. And I feel like a part of my success is because I have watched every single training you've ever done, probably. And so if you're on Brittany's team, just know that you are so blessed, because Brittany's over here helping to develop Jules, not even in her downline, not even like directly connected to her. And I feel like that's amazing. So thank you, Brittany.
Well, thanks. All right, ladies. Well, good night. I enjoyed it a ton. See y'all later. Bye.